to another episode of the Banya. Today I've got my best friend in the whole wide world, the man who I love more than my firstborn child.
Oh.
No joke, joking.
We can edit that out.
Yeah, no, man. So today the format's a little different, as you can maybe see. We're in a hot tub up in Northern California. This is a little Christmas episode, so Merry Christmas, everybody. So just wanted to welcome Sam Kruegel. He is my childhood friend, best mate, if you will. And welcome, brother.
Welcome.
Welcome
I'm
to
happy
you.
to be here today. It's
Yeah.
been nice to kind of just see this from where it was just an idea.
Yeah.
I remember you texted me at 4:30 in the morning saying that you wanted to do a podcast, and then the next day you had all the stuff and you had the first episode. So
Amazon, baby.
yeah.
Gets there quick. Yeah, so I should say Sam, he's very technical. He's an artist. He's always been super good at music. And he's on Spotify. His artist name, is that what you call it, right? Is Lyde.
With a period at the end.
Yeah, there's another Lyde out there. It's Lyde period. And how would you describe your music?
Instrumental, easy listening, kind of hip-hop adjacent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Sam, dude. So growing up, Sam's a punk rocker, and then got into some atmosphere hip hop. So Sam's like always been the guy that like curates like good music. He's got good taste. Like I don't. So like I always just hit Sam up like, all right, what are we listening to now? And he points me in the right direction. So that's always been a fun part of our relationship.
Yeah, totally.
Going to those early punk rock shows was super fun. So I should say, like, so we're up in Northern California. We're in a town called Grass Valley, Nevada City, and like it's north of Sacramento, about an hour. Punk scene was always pretty strong up here, right?
And just music in general. There's
Yeah.
like the artist and musician per capita here.
Mm-hmm.
It's higher than really anywhere else. Like, you know, there's Joanna Newsom and Aaron Ross, and there's a lot of people that are
Legit
making a living off of music
Right.
from here.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, it's visually, like where we live up here in Northern California, it's beautiful. It's, you know, kind of hippie-ish, right? Like a lot of marijuana, mushrooms, like all that kind of culture is pretty strong here. So the creative side of people peaks up here, I would say, right?
And there's just less distractions. It's not a big city.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So people have
Yeah.
more time to focus on whatever it
Yeah.
is that their art or passion is.
Yeah, even Sacramento has that. It's like a cow town, right? Like it's, I mean, the capital of California, but it's not like there's no hustle and bustle as heavy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So especially like when we were like 20, 30 years ago when we were kids, right? I mean, it's some of that's changed a little bit. It's like commercialized in a way, but yeah, it's a good spot up here, minus the serial killers.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
Yeah, those guys suck. But what do you got for me, dude? You
I mean, I don't know. I think about music, and really with anything you kind of have to just be naturally pulled to it first, and then from there you can kind of cultivate a deeper love and a deeper mastery of a skill of it from there. But it starts with something that is kind of even out of your control.
Right.
Yeah, so for me it just started with my grandma playing piano
Right.
and I would just dance around the house when I was like 4 or 5.
Right.
Like my earliest memories
Yeah.
are that, being so moved by music that I wanted to just get in front of it and do it.
That's awesome.
And
dude.
so it kind of just started with like getting pots and pans and banging on them with spoons. but no one told me to do it or anything. It just was like a naturally just gravitated towards it. And always just being obsessed with listening to it too, and just all of it, any of it, anything that we would hear. It could be music on the radio or you name it. And then it wasn't until 4th grade when I actually started formally playing an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just when we had the opportunity to do band in school.
Right.
And it was like, I don't even care what instrument I play. I just want to be in band class, surrounded by music. So my mom's friend had a trumpet, and I just learned that.
Right.
And became first chair in that, like, within a couple years. And at the same time, still, like, really wanting to be a drummer, though. But it's just, like, having a drum set and getting that just wasn't in the picture.
Right.
But I'm really happy that I played trumpet just because it taught me about music and, like, key signatures and kind of the fundamentals of what goes into it.
Yeah. That's super interesting to hear. You and I have, like, it's funny that we're, like, I call you my best friend. I hope you consider me your best friend. But, like, you and I are so different.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have any exposure to music. I suck at it so bad. And, like, you know, I was more into, like, the sport, like wrestling, and, like, that's what I dove into. So, yeah, I think it was, I don't know how you feel about it, but it was fun for me to hang out with you because you were not in that world. Like, it was like a break for me to, like, you know, be exposed to that kind of stuff. And, like, you taking me to punk shows and, like, stuff like that was super interesting because, like, music's just not part of our family, you know, like, growing up.
But it is, but it just wasn't in the same way, like, where you guys had your albums that you loved and listened to, but it wasn't, like, the forefront of things, where kind of everybody has music running in the background somewhere. And you guys loved that self-titled Third Eye Blind record. Like, that's an obsession that I think, you know, parlays into learning an instrument. Like, you also do play guitar a little bit.
Yeah, banjo a little. I mean, in college and stuff, I, like, since I have kids, I can't, they just destroy every music instrument I pull out, so that part of my life is on pause. But yeah, dude, there's nothing for me personally driving down Bitney Springs Road, listening to Third Eye Blind is, like, that's heaven for me.
Yeah.
Dude. I mean, it is, like, my best memories, and still, like, I do it every time I come back home to visit. I'm doing it, man. It's the best. But yeah, so one of the themes we touch on in this podcast, though, is health, whether it be mental or physical. Do you, like, something? I guess I've always had a little bit of interest in, like, creativeness. Like, it's manifested in different ways. Like, in college, I just randomly would do weird shit. Like, I ordered a bunch of maple syrup, like, tapping equipment. I
remember that.
Yeah, I would, like, do weird stuff like that. Like, I would make my own maple syrup in Indiana and stuff. And I just, like, that part, like, what for you, like, with, I think, maybe more mental health, the creative side of, like, because so many people, I think, just go through life and they don't tickle the creative side of anything. They just, like, are grinding and, like, working and family and all that stuff, and they don't do, like, like, this podcast is, like, my next venture into something creative. And for me, like, my mind, it's been it's like a vacation for me. Like, this is so much fun. I do hate the setup part of it. I'm not a grip, dude. It stresses me out. Like, I want to get the mics hot and I want everything running perfect, but I'm terrible at that kind of stuff. But this right here, sitting in the tub with you, talking and whatever, like, that's my therapy. So, like, for you, what does that do?
I mean, it's everything at this point. It's an identity. It's just gratification, especially being in bands. I liked it, but you're kind of just like a percentage of what's happening. You're a percentage of the art that's happening, which is beautiful in its own way, like coming together with people and making something greater than the individual parts. But now that I'm just producing my own music, like just building the songs and the sounds from nothing on my own, it's just so much more an extension of me and a manifestation of like my inner self. That
Did you say a manifestation? A manifestation. Sorry. Go.
Yeah, so it's gratifying. It gives me purpose. It's really, it checks every box. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what I would do without it at this point. It's kind of like this through line since childhood.
Yeah.
I've always had it. So it's kind of hard for me to separate it because I don't know what I would be doing without it, or I don't really know adult life without it.
If I'm hearing you, it's like it's giving life a purpose, basically. Right?
Yeah, and I mean other things give it a purpose too, but like just having an art and expressing through sounds is like it's the number one thing that gives me purpose. Yeah, really, on an individual level.
Right. One thing I think about that with this, and I guess it's not really an issue. Like I wish everybody could like be a like creative artist, you know, like that would be so cool. But like, what would happen to the economy if like people just like, you know, everybody can't be an actor or a musician, right? Like we need things, but you know, I guess I'm an example of that. Like I have a regular job and then I'm doing this, like, and it just so do you,
me too,
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think for people, I wish like health wise, like mentally, like doing something creative, like it's weird. Like a year ago I could not have imagined myself doing this. Like this is the like alien, right? But doing it, loving it, it's so much fun. It's like it's made my life way more beautiful. So.
Yeah, and there's common denominators between that and any sort of art. It could be cooking, it could be painting, it could be teaching, it could be you name it. Like there's creativity comes in so many different forms.
Absolutely.
That you don't even realize you're being creative a lot of the time, or people don't. But yeah, just having an outlet that for me it's like it's liberating that there's no like financial repercussions to it. Yeah, there's no financial pressure to it. So it's really like just doing it like just for the sake of creating more than anything else.
Yeah.
And that's just so fulfilling for everybody.
I agree. I mean, Dana, my co-host, and I, you know, back in Phoenix at the Banya, we talk about that a little, like actually a lot. Like I would be happy to just do this if 0 people were listening and I never made any money, you know, like obviously it's not even the goal of this, right? At this point, and I have 0 interest in that. It's just like the conversations I have with people, meeting new people. That's something that I always struggled with. Like I kind of like the first 30 years of my life, I kind of just like went through life just I don't know, just not interested in people. Right?
Yeah.
It's weird. And now it's like an aha moment for me where I'm like, the funnest part of life is like playing with people.
Human interactions. Yeah,
it's great.
That's what the magic of life comes from.
Yeah.
And even it's like it's the conversations, then also just like the little interactions where you like make a joke with a stranger at the store or something too.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, that's my favorite thing. Like the way I describe it is like I'm flirting with everyone. And it's just like it's not like a sexual thing at all. It's just like kind of like playing with people. Yeah. You know, like it's so much fun.
Totally.
You know, so you can buy into that. It's a good time, but that's tough for a lot of people, you know. I mean, it was for me, you know.
Yeah, there are just so many people, and we're like put in the position to where we have to interact with people on like a level of work where we don't. It's not like as authentic as it would be if we just were kind of out in the wild and so there's a lot of like kind of people just being shoved down our throats too, and social media and where we're at with the media doesn't help with that either.
No.
But just finding lanes within that, like you have.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, I had a weird thing at the grocery store the other day. It really upset me. This lady was in front of us in the line, and I had all 3 of my kids, and like they're just always joking around, messing and stuff. And she wasn't buying like produce or anything. It was like sodas and stuff. And like Ollie, my littlest guy, was like kind of touching like her groceries, like her sodas, just like poking them, like nothing crazy. And she was just like super rude to him and was like, "Don't touch my stuff." And she was just like the shaved head side of the head, one of those gals. And I was just like, it upset me for her. I was like, why would you react like that? Like, this is not a big deal at all, and to be rude to a 4-year-old, I'm just like, I feel bad for those people. I'm just like, dude, you got to readjust how you look at life, because there's just no reason for that. You know what I mean?
Well, she just has some sad story connected to her life that's led her to in that moment.
100%. And I'm staring at her head, and I'm just like, I see it all. I'm just like, whoever is mean to you or did whatever to you, it's just like that sucks. But people need to grow up and like figure that shit out,
Yeah.
But I don't think people think about it. They're just going through life, and they don't introspect in themselves and like look at what's going on in their own lives and why they are the way that they are. And even if you're like the healthiest, happiest person or a miserable bitch, we all need to do that. We need to look in ourselves and go like, what's happening? We just need to think about it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Right? Just like, what's going on?
That's something that my mom has kind of instilled in me. Just giving people the benefit of the doubt, too. Like, she didn't give your kid the benefit of the doubt in that situation, that he was just fooling around or something like that. Yeah. And,
No, it's simpler than that, though. Like, if you look at the scope of life of, like, what really matters, like a 4-year-old touching your soda can.
Totally.
What the hell?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was that crazy where I'm just like, dude, you are a damaged person. And, that bums me out for people, like, when they do that. But
yeah, I mean, everyone's damaged. It's just a matter of if you're doing something to try to heal it or not, really. And and everyone is always going to be damaged. It's just
let's do a little introspectiveness of our relationship, okay, for fun. So I've got a what do you call it? A bone to pick with you. So when I call you, I feel like you're screening me a lot, and I need you to. If you ever call me, I want to pick that phone up no matter what I'm doing. That's where I'm coming from with you. Like, I could be doing the work, like open heart surgery on myself, and I want to talk to you. And no matter, I feel like I annoy you sometimes, and I want to figure out what's going on with that.
Okay, well, it's just when it's the 5th call in 2 days about something.
Right.
It's not like if like we haven't talked for a month and you call me, like that's different. It's just kind of been lately with the podcast.
Right.
And me just being having my own full-time job and dealing with life. So that's all it is coming from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and it's all good. If that continues or whatever, like, I got nothing but love for you forever.
Of course.
And all that. So
and I just like, for the longest time, I had no boundaries around myself or my time or anything, and I'm like such a people pleaser that I just wanted to help anything. So I'm trying to like take a step back from that too, and like kind of value my own time. And so
100%.
So maybe it's manifesting it in that way, and maybe I could like communicate it a little bit better. But that's kind of where I'm coming from too.
For sure. And I'm doing that in my own life too, but it's more for like business relationships and like people that just like again, like the inner circle of my life. Like I'm gonna answer any and again, I'm not saying you have to do this, but
Totally.
I'm just telling you like where my mindset is. Like I'm gonna put myself in front of a train or like answer any phone call for like the people that are just like that tight with me.
Yeah.
And like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no amount of phone calls that you could make to me that are gonna annoy me. And I mean, again, I know I'm an annoying person, so I'll own that for sure.
Yeah.
And I know, again, looking inward, like, dude, I'm annoying the heck out of my family. Like I don't shut up. I'm just like constantly talking. But you know what? I'm not gonna stop that. It's just like, it's at this point, it's who I am, and I like doing it, and I like making people laugh, and like that, like whatever. Like I fully understand where you're coming from. Is my point.
Totally. No, and it's always good to talk about things too, and you're just like running at a different speed than most people, and it's like, and it's a beautiful thing, like what you're able to accomplish with that, and like how you've harnessed it, and you've turned it into a business, and then now you're doing a podcast. And like I said, from the first text when you mentioned it to me to when you had an episode was like a day.
Right.
Where that's a super impressive and like honorable amount of drive that you have too.
Yeah.
But then just realizing that like people around you aren't on that same level.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I still am picking up every call and like, and we're whatever needs to be talked about, we're getting through.
Of course.
So that'll always be there, and I always pick up your calls. You know.
Yeah. No, for sure. Do whatever you need to do to be happy. Is
totally.
I just wanted to call that out, especially like again because, and this has changed. And you know, there's other reasons why I'm like opening up my soul and like calling more people and like. I'm going to err on the side of like, so like right now my wife lives up in Grass Valley with, where my parents do. It's a 20-minute drive between their houses. And I'm just calling people like, Merry Christmas, love you, you know, that kind of stuff. And I'm sure it's annoying for a lot of people, but I don't care. Like I'd rather, I would, instead of, because the first 30 years of my life, I was like, I don't want to annoy people. I don't want to call them. Like, you and I didn't really talk that much, you know.
I mean, like once every couple months or something, we would talk.
In my book, that's not enough, dude. And I would rather err on the side of annoying you and everyone else I love and, like, make those phone calls and, like, just be there for people more mentally and check in with them and just, like, all that stuff. And if it's annoying for them, sorry, but at this point I'm just like, that's what I'm gonna do for people, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you're just like, at the end of the day, you're just perpetuating positivity.
Correct.
And I guess we just come for different sides of the tracks there, because I'm really codependent, so I like need people, and I've needed people way more. So I'm trying to dial that back.
Oh, okay. Well, with me, I would love you to dial it forward.
Yeah, no, and
I want to be there for you.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate it, and like we're in a good place, and like we will continue to be, and we'll continue to talk on the phone. But like, I guess I just have like a ton of friends too.
Yeah, you do.
And so it's just, I'm just trying to rely on people a little bit less personally.
No, that's
because of my
hilarious.
Path.
Yeah, you and I are so opposite.
But we're also like intersecting in a way that we never have before too, and we're having better conversations now than we've ever had too. So it's like we have found this good place. Yeah. Within our paths being totally different.
Dude, that's so interesting, man. This kind of stuff is so fun for me right now. You know, just like figuring this kind of stuff out, and again, you know, bringing it back to a little bit of the purpose of the podcast is like, I want this thing to be super positive. I want people to, you know, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not like a genius in any way, but like, I just want this to be a positive thing for people to like, you know, and like the way I listen to podcasts, like I listen to so much content and I might grab one thing out of 1 billion hours of listening, but it helps me, you know? So
totally.
Yeah. If that could be this for somebody that needed to hear whatever, and like, and dude, just like this conversation that we're having, like me and you, best buds since forever, and like we're just like, you know, we're figuring this out at this point. Like, you know, it's awesome.
Yeah, communications is key to any relationship, and and just civil communication and forwarding it with like you're talking about yourself only basically, and then I'm talking about myself only, and then like we just understand each other better because of it.
Right. Yeah. Explaining and just being more open about like everything, like where you are as a person and where the people in your life that you love are. You know, like trying to understand them too and their perspective, like. Because, like, what you just said about, like, you being codependent your whole life, I never, like, dude, I've known you for forever, and, like, I didn't even, that never occurred to me that you thought that way about your relationships. You know?
Yeah.
It's insane.
Definitely. That's something that, like, going to therapy has helped, like, uncover more, though. So, people just make me feel really good and, like, really good about myself, but...
That's good.
To some degree, though, but
you
need to just love yourself first, though.
Yeah.
And be able to, like, I don't know, find peace from within in a way.
You know, I think that's something, so, like, your path through music and growing up, I think that's something that, like, I was fortunate in my life, like, the martial arts, like, the wrestling and now the jiu-jitsu that's in my life, like, that as a kid gives you that inner confidence to, like, in any situation, you know, and you and I, like, we went, you know, the area we grew up in, like, it's a beautiful mix of people, right? There's, like, great people, and then there's people that are really struggling in life.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, from the get, like, you know, literally, like, I'd get in fights, and, you know, like, we all did, and, like, having that confidence to, like, just, like, deal with anybody is I didn't know it at the time, but, you know, thinking about it as a 36-year-old man, like, that's huge, you know, being able to walk through life and just, like, keep your head up and, like, not be afraid of just people is pretty good.
And from what I take from wrestling, it's like such an individual sport, and what you're saying is like you develop a stronger sense of self earlier on, where a lot of people don't get that. Where I even just played team sports,
right,
or stuff like that. So I see how that's kind of just instilled in just the mindset of wrestling.
Yeah. Team sports, I think, are kind of toxic in a way, like, especially, like, in the small town we grew up in, like, you know, the kid's dad was the coach,
parents,
and, like, he's putting him
politics.
in, like, and, like, they make you feel like the kids that aren't out there playing and stuff, it's bad for them, like that. I did a little bit of that stuff, and I hated it from the get, like the douchey dad that would just, like, start his kid all the time, and it's just like, at that, you know, even if they are better than anybody else, like, you gotta let these other kids cycle in and let them, you know, do their thing.
And that's the thing about wrestling, is that everyone's wrestling on the team.
Oh,
every match.
There's very little politics, I should say. It's like, you are good or you're not, and you're gonna get better or you're not, and, you know. And
you have an opportunity to wrestle every time you're out there.
Right. Yeah. There's JV, there's varsity, and, like, and yeah, you're scrapping it up, and it's just like there's no dad in there, like, putting his kid in the lineup. It's like you either you win the wrestle off,
you weigh something, and
you either win or you don't. Like, that's it. There's no team, you know, nothing to hide behind there. So
totally. So then that just turns right back into what I'm doing with music right now, where I'm just making it all on my own.
Right.
And that's...
Yeah, you've gotten out of the band situation and you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah, and that's just helped me with confidence and just general decision-making. Because that's something that was tough for me and is tough for people, like just making decisions with consequences.
Agreed. So, like, where are you at with your music, and, like, what's the future, and, like, what are you kind of dialing in?
So, let's see. Just learning piano, drums, bass, and guitar better, learning more chords, learning really just playing, making songs over different rhythms that I haven't before. And, yeah, just getting deeper into the craft. It's hard to really put into words, but, yeah, just my lens is even more refined than it ever is, and being less of a perfectionist with it too, and you can take You can take an idea that's not great, and if you augment it and tweak it the right way, you can make it awesome.
Right.
So taking kernels of like the nugget of a song idea that maybe isn't as strong as I think it is, but just finessing it and putting the right color paint on it and putting the right layers and sounds and just making something out of less.
Right. Yeah, and actually I should mention too, Sam did the intro to our podcast. So the music at the beginning and the end is from Sam. So I called Sam and I was like, I want what's the Blink-182 song?
What's My Age Again?
No.
That's what you told me.
Did I?
And I asked you what part, because the beginning's just like soft guitars, and then it comes in and just rips.
I mean, definitely a Blink. I can't remember which song I was thinking of. I did tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't doubt you there. But yeah, like I liked like the punk kind of vibe. So yeah, that's where we went with that. And you dialed that in even. Like you kind of just threw something together. What'd you say? You shit it out real quick, and then you kind of like were tweaking it and stuff. So
it started with the rhythm though. It's like kind of learning the characteristics of what makes a song sound like what it is.
Yeah,
it starts with the tempo and the rhythm, and then the key.
Right.
You can get scientific with it pretty easily, and there's all sorts of theory and stuff that helps. But yeah.
There was I saw like a good clip from whoever made the producer of the music, right, for who's the 8 Mile guy? Eminem, yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's like, my name is my name. Like the dude just played the music, and then Eminem was just like, bam, like he
made that.
Just said it.
He's the song,
like,
He's brilliant, Eminem also.
Yeah. I know, appreciating. I didn't like him when he first came out. I was just like, this guy's trash and just kind of like a dirt ball, And then like now, I appreciate that side of people a little more.
That he's sober now too, and just the longevity of someone that's been not only making a living, but like one of the biggest artists in the world. Like most bands, they pop up for a little bit, have a couple big songs, and then they have day jobs within 5 years, but very few can make a living for their whole lives off of it.
Sure. What kind of drugs was he doing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just, who knows, probably everything.
Yeah.
The rock star life.
Right. Yeah.
But people that like are around that temptation forever but grow out of it, because a lot of them don't.
Yeah, they die. They just rot, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was in that trailer park trash situation, so it's probably, like you
coming
said,
from that and just not having like a stable family unit, and then having access to everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild. That pressure makes diamonds, that kind of a thing, but I'm glad not to be in that boat. It's, that's dealing with a lot in life, So yeah, thankful for our childhoods. We had good parents.
Yeah,
good place
totally.
To grow up in, and I mean, dude, we're in my opinion, the most beautiful place on planet Earth.
And it's safe up here too.
Yeah, it's got everything.
Yeah,
besides our stupid California politics, which we won't get into. They're trying to ruin everything any way they can, but yeah, this place is beautiful. It's got everything, best food. It's an amazing spot. So yeah, very thankful to my parents and brothers and putting up with all my shit, annoyingness lately. But yeah, dude. Anyways, you got anything else, dude? Yeah. What are you doing? We talk about this a lot too on the podcast, is like choosing your own hard, because life's hard.
Yeah.
So it's gonna hit you either way. So like people that do things that are difficult, I think fare better, obviously. So what are you doing in your life that's difficult, pushing you mentally, physically, or whatever?
Definitely exercise and working out, and I ride my road bike a lot. Do 20, 30, 40 miles at a time.
Damn.
And been getting back into BMXing too, and,
nice.
and jumping.
Hopefully
and there's
not
tracks.
Getting too crazy. Though.
No,
Yeah,
no,
good.
it's a good way to. It's high intensity, so
Yeah.
like 15 minutes of just pedaling your ass off.
Yeah,
You're
toast.
sweating.
Yeah.
But and then just going to the gym and going on the Stairmaster and just cranking for a half an hour and just sweating my ass off, like that, just like voluntary resistance.
Right.
Like those are the things that I do that I just get the returns from it are endless.
Yeah.
And
No,
and that's like, and that just helps my self-esteem too.
Mm-hmm.
Just accomplishing the sense of accomplishment.
So I've always had a fondness for San Francisco, the city, not the politics, obviously, and like some of the weird stuff. But I do love how weird the city is.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. I love the fog, the crazy weather. It's the most insane city that I haven't been all over the planet, but to me, it's kind of just like visually and just the way it's put together, the age of it, just the history.
Yeah,
it amazes me. I love it, like being there as a visitor. You live there in that area,
yeah,
and stuff. Like you love it, right?
I do still. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, you're right. It's just got a weirdness to it, and the art is amazing. The art community, the music community out there is like had such a profound impact on my life since I moved there, and that was kind of part of the reason why I moved there. And when I moved down there, I was working at a piano store, and there were 3 piano stores in Oakland. What other city has 3 piano stores that are all opening and functioning? Nowhere.
Right.
So yeah, it's just something about it sits right on the water, and it's not Southern California, and it's Northern California. There's just something about it where it's like kind of just this melting pot of culture in different ways, and art, and yeah, it's just, yeah, I still
are in love with it.
Still
basically.
are in love with it.
Yeah. I often wonder how I would do living there. I think probably. Well,
you just adapt to your surroundings.
For sure. Yeah. I wonder, like, how do kids do there? Like, people with
that's the thing is, like, most of my friends down there don't have kids.
Yeah.
They end up moving out.
You're about to embark, maybe.
Yeah. Let me see. What else? I had some questions for you.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Childhood, what?
I guess. I mean, what was it about wrestling that pulled you towards it at the early age?
No, I was shoved into it. My cousins did it. My dad, for some reason, just loved it. I mean, I understand now more where he was coming from.
But you didn't dislike it, like to be good at something, dude, you have to.
The relationship with wrestling is insane, dude. It's just like it's the hardest thing on planet Earth to go through. Just the weight cuts, and especially back then, like, dude, I would cut weight to make like 64 pounds as like, a 4th grader or whatever. It's like the stuff you do is just, it's insane and it's super hard. And, if my dad had ever asked me if I wanted to quit, I probably would have 7,000 times, but I probably would have gone back to it too, though. It's one of those things that, like, it's, again, choosing your heart. It's like, it's the mental confidence it gives you, the physical, abilities and stuff. It's amazing, but it's also just an insane thing to do as a youngin.
So how was the shift, like, in a personal identity level, from you start in 4th grade and you do it up through college?
No, I started as a 5-year-old.
5-year-old. You start as a 5-year-old. You're dedicating your life to this thing, and then you stop it. Right.
Well, so here's like the trajectory. It was like 10 years of me kind of not doing that well in wrestling. From 5 years old to 15, basically. I started to have like some good success. Like winning California state championships, like in freestyle and Greco and stuff, and beating kids that used to beat me, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
But so it was a painful 10 years, and that's what's funny, like doing jiu-jitsu now. It's like, there's a lot of talk of like if you're dedicated, you can get your black belt in about 10 years. And it's like, it's funny that like 10-year thing, it's like, in with business, everything.
Music,
it's like
10,000 hours.
Yeah, it's true.
To develop a mastery at anything, it's like 10 years.
And, some kids were out of the box great at wrestling. I was not.
Yeah.
So I had to go through all that, and it was difficult. So once I got that bite of some success, it started to become really fun. It was always good, but it became, very enjoyable. And
you won state senior year?
Well, so in freestyle and Greco I did.
You did,
but
yeah.
then in collegiate, which is the high school level, I got second. I got a runner-up. Jason Welch beat me in the finals. Anyways, then college was super fun, man. I mean, it was, again, very difficult, but it was challenging, and there was a lot of weird things that happened in between, like with coach changes. It was a strange journey, but it was all good. But I was pretty burnt by the time I was done. It's all I'd ever done. I really wanted to work. I wanted to like do different things, and so I did that for a solid 10 years, and I began to miss everything that came with wrestling, like the caliber of people, just like the grind, the physical side of it. So I found Jiu-Jitsu through my buddy Dana, and an amazing gym. It's just the people there are insanely great, and it's more fun than wrestling because there's high caliber like guys that do it, but also like there's 100-pound women. There's
it doesn't discriminate who can do it.
Yeah, there's huge giant fat people. There's just, you name it, every walk of life. And I was at when I first jumped into jiu-jitsu, I was like, those people, I was like, this might not be that good. I want to be around like tough dudes and stuff like that. But I've come to love the diversity in there. It is the best part about it. All these people from all walks of life, super out of shape or super fit, crazy people, normal people. It's so fun. And they're all in their own way. They're all really, because they're bettering their lives. So people that are on that journey, whether they're beginning it or deep into it, they're good people because they're, they might be flawed in some ways, but they're on that journey to improve themselves, and those are the type of people I want to be around. And
then there's no financial gain to being in that gym. They're just there because
correct.
Yeah,
it's a hobby, and it's
a passion.
Yeah, it's a passion. It's a journey to self-improvement, and that's to walk in there and do that type of a thing. You have to. You believe it. You have to buy. It's super hard to tell somebody. We all do it. We go, you need to do jiu-jitsu to everyone in our life. And those people they have to buy into it themselves,
Like with anything.
Right.
But it's like, it's hard after working a long day to want to do anything. So like just the fact that just getting there is half the battle.
Right. For sure. Yeah, showing up. And it's scary for people, like doing something like that. Like if you've never done anything, physical in your life and jumping in on stuff, and people do it, but it's tough, man. It's scary. But surrounding yourself with good people, man, that's huge.
Totally. You are who you surround yourself with. Like I remember hearing that long ago and not believing it, but it's really true. Yeah,
all these cliches.
Influence, yeah.
These cliches are, I mean, some of them are whatever, but a lot of them are true. But
you can take what you want from them.
Yeah,
and work your own angle on them.
Well, it's like everything's like a duh, right? Until you like internally believe it.
Yes.
That's when it starts to work. Like you can sit there and
resonating when it resonates with you.
So I wonder about the people on Instagram that like post all these like quotes all day and stuff. Yeah. Those people. I wonder like I wonder if they actually believe them.
There's just too many. It's like sometimes one every once in a while will just hit you in the right way But it's it's performative.
To post 100 a week, that's too much. Even for people that are like trying to. I mean, I guess it's a good thing because actually, you know what? If they do that and then like one person hooks onto one thing, and it's all good. The thing that I've been doing lately that has been super helpful, and again, kind of annoying for people in my life, but like just opening up. And it's a cliche. It's hard.
Yeah.
You say that, right? Like, obviously, okay, cool, but like just being insanely honest with people people respond to it. It's scary. You think they're gonna like, disown you, but they don't. Like, just like,
Yeah, no, vulnerability, like authenticity, it's kind of just the way to go, and in a non-aggressive form too.
Right. Yes, with love. No,
with
you
love.
have to do it with love.
Coming from love always.
Yes, absolutely. Not being like, this is all about me type of
Yeah.
thing. Like, it's opening up for the people in your life to like love you more.
Yeah.
And again, like we were talking, figure out what's going on with them.
Yes, definitely.
It's crazy. That's been the most fun part of like the last 6 months of my life, is just like, my conversations like with my dad, my mom, my brothers, like my wife, everybody. It's just better, dude.
Yeah, I'm so proud of how far you've come, and your path that you're on. It's been cool to watch. And,
well, you too, dude.
Yeah.
I just, again, I'm glad like that I've learned stuff about you that I just, again, known you for 30 years and I just never, well, we don't know those things about ourselves, right? Like you said, you're just figuring that out.
We're figuring ourselves out always.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, no, you being open and vulnerable, like it helps people be open and vulnerable too. When they see that in someone else, it's easier to get to that place.
Yeah, it's insane, dude. Just like that, you say stuff and you're kind of like, I don't know how this is gonna go, but then like they respond to it like positively. It's like, oh, cool. Like I need to. Why haven't I been doing this my whole life?
Yeah,
definitely. But we're all on different paths and figuring it out. Hey, Sam, I love you, dude.
I love you too, Luke.
You are one of my favorite persons on planet Earth.
You're a solid ass homie, and you've always been.
Hell yeah, dude, ride or die.
Yes.
Boom, let's cut it, dude. Love you all. Thanks for listening.